You are listening to the B.I.G Show with your hosts, Calvin and Garland. The B.I.G Show is a weekly breakdown of the sports world from a fan's perspective. Here are your hosts, Calvin and Garland.
It is the big show 3 weeks in a row.
I know.
Ain't much to say. Hope y'all are doing well.
Come
you can
on.
hear us on all the podcast platforms. We are live on YouTube right now. And if you have Spotify, when I drop the episode, you'll get to see our beautiful faces. I'm Calvin. That guy over there is Garland. What's going on, sir?
What's going on, bro? 3 weeks in a row, we done set a new trend. You know, we doing our thing. Don't sleep on us. We
careful.
Coming
Somebody
back.
might think this is actually a weekly podcast,
right?
From a fan's perspective, they might mistake us.
We might get our 1 or 2 fans back. I ain't mad at it. We doing our thing. What about yourself, bro? What's going on with you?
No, man, just chilling. You know what I mean? Over here, just thinking about how my summer Fridays are going to be over this week. Summer Fridays at my job, we would get off at 2:00. Between Labor Day and between Memorial Day and Labor Day, and this is the last week for Summer Friday, so it's back to regular hours on Fridays, and I don't know how I feel about that. Like it's every year they do that, they shut it down. I get a little emotional. I'm get a little upset about.
You get a little like Carl Thomas. I'm emotional. You be standing outside the building singing at the building.
On Fridays make a difference. You got something to look forward to on Friday. It's almost like Thursday is your Friday, because you only going in for a couple hours on Friday, and then I'm a little.
I feel you. I mean, because I work remotely on Fridays, and so that's not too big of a thing for me. And they're closing down early on Friday. They're letting us go at 1:00, state workers and stuff. But I feel you. Sometimes I'll be thinking like, wow, it's crazy, but we used to actually come into the office on Fridays. We used to be working 5 days a week from the office prior to COVID. Sometimes I think about that, man. That was like a whole nother lifetime.
So I'm the only one that actually goes in the office on Fridays. Like every now and then somebody else might be there, but I'm there by myself, and I love it because I ain't got to talk to nobody. I can get whatever I need done. I love it. When people come in, they get on my damn nerves, especially if they have a meeting on Friday. I'll be like, the fuck y'all got a meeting in this bitch for? Go home.
Right.
Damn.
Right.
You probably could have been an email anyway. Shit.
Just gave me my cup. Yeah. This Friday. Yeah, Fridays. Don't talk to me on Fridays. Just email. Don't call me. None of those things. Exactly. You want to pull me into something? Pull me in on Monday. But yeah, Friday, just let me work. Just let me work. Leave me alone. But I feel you, bro. Just trying to enjoy this last week of, although summer is not over, it's the last unofficial week of summer. School's back in session. People are getting back to the regular routines. It's been beautiful weather. Hopefully, the tropic high does not come back. We've been, felt like I needed a jacket at one point today while I was out. And so, as a matter of fact, man, I had a good lunch. I had to go get a tire. And the place where I went and got a tire was right across from Chaps Pit Beef. You ever been to Chaps on Route 40? I'm sure you have.
I haven't been. I have, but I haven't been to Chaps since before they got famous with what's his face? It made him famous when
it was Man versus Food. Adam Richmond went there, and the other dude, Don is driving and dies.
I haven't been there since before that. I think I did go there one time after that, and I wasn't used to the line being so long, and I got frustrated. But I go to there's one called Canopy now. Well, not now, but it's one called Canopy Beef on Route 40 in Ellicott City.
Okay.
Right once you cross over 70, and they're actually really good. There's another one around here, Falls Road, called Pioneer that everybody's talking about. So
I heard about that. Since I'm kind of like northeast, I'll be hitting the ones northwest. As a matter of fact, Chaps opened up their satellite stores in Aberdeen. And so usually I hit the one in Aberdeen. It's not too far from Ripken Stadium. So usually go around there and sometimes catch a little pit beef. And there's a couple of other spots out this way as well.
Is that still Ripken Stadium? I thought I heard he was selling that.
It's it's Lido Stadium, but it's Ripken Lido's Park or Lido's Field at Ripken Stadium, whatever it is. But yeah, they were in a dispute with the city of Aberdeen because they had some deal that they would build the park, but Aberdeen would do the maintenance on the park for free. And Aberdeen's a small town. I mean, if they got 500 or 600 people, they got a million. And so I just don't think the revenues have been there. And so they've been trying to get out of the contract forever. The Ripkins wind up selling the team to some sports consortium that owns a lot of minor league baseball teams. And they wind up moving. They're going to move the A team or it was the minors class A. They're going to move that team to Frederick. They also own the Frederick Stadium. So they're going to move the low A team to Frederick, and they'll be playing out of Frederick next year. And I think they're going to have like a independent league team in Ripken Stadium. I've actually been there for a game. It's a nice little stadium and stuff. They just never were able to sell it out. I mean, it's baseball is already struggling. You already had a losing team in Baltimore. Sometimes they would get the good players like I think Manny. He did a short stint there. Manny Machado. Of course, our boy, he just did I'm going to remember names today. Our second baseman did a short stint there as well. Holiday. Yeah, Jackson Holiday did a short stint there as well. But because it's low A, they don't necessarily get big name players. If it's a person who signed, usually they're starting at double A. They're in Bowie, and then they're down in Norfolk, and so it really does not pull a lot of people in to go to those games, and so they've never really sold out and stuff. But he built a nice also facility for Little League. It's kind of like they have replica stadiums from across the country for. He was sponsoring the Little League. Cal Ripken, was sponsoring the Little League World Series. They had a hotel on the grounds as well. And so, they were really hoping it would take off with the tournament, but I don't think they've done the tournament since COVID. Normally around this time, I would see a lot of little minivans and kids at the fast food spots, people in town for the tournament, but I haven't seen that in a couple.
They were having some years ago. They were having an adult softball tournament up there, and they
I didn't know that.
Contacted me. They actually reached out to me so the Grays could play up there, and it just didn't work out. I think the weekend they tried to do it, we were already in the tournament, and then they didn't have another one, but it rained, and then they tried to do a makeup, but they just didn't get the team. Like, it just never worked out. Plus, it was hella expensive compared to tournaments we were doing at the time.
Sure.
I think tournaments we did were like $250 or something. They wanted something like $500 for like a 2-game guarantee or something crazy like that. I was just like, yeah,
that's nutty.
I was pumped to kind of play there, but it was like jumping through hoops to do all that. I was just like, nah, all right, well, yeah, it just didn't work out. So it would have been fun though.
So yeah, we'll see what happens. I normally play some golf at a course behind there. Wetlands Golf Course is behind Ripken Stadium, so I played a couple rounds there. It's a nice little track back in the woods back behind the stadium. So we'll see what happens with the spot and all. But it's a beautiful stadium. Hopefully they'll get a team in there and they'll be able to get some revenue. Man, let's go ahead and jump back into the football show, man. Last week we did our NFC picks. We previewed the National Football Conference, NFC East, North, South, and West. Just a quick recap in terms of division winners. Calvin picked the Eagles in the East, the Packers in the North, Tampa Bay in the South, and the Niners for the West. His wildcard teams were the Commanders, Lions, and Rams. My teams were the Eagles, Lions in the North, Tampa in the South, and the Niners in the West. And my wild card was Commanders, Packers, and Cardinals. And so we're going to go ahead with the only conference that really matters around here, the American Football Conference, the AFC. And so let's go ahead and jump right into the AFC East. Last year, the 2024 division champion were the Buffalo Bills. They went 11-6 during the season. They beat the Broncos in the wild card. They beat our Ravens in the divisional. That has been a super sore point. I thought that the Chiefs' loss in the AFC Championship the year before was painful, but I think that loss last year was more painful than the loss in the AFC Championship for the Ravens the year before. It probably was in the style that they lost, with Mark Andrews dropping the 2-point conversion that hit him right in the hand and fell out of his hands. But we're going to keep on moving on. And the Bills wound up going to the AFC Championship, where they lost to the Chiefs there. They did not have any wild card teams coming out that division. And as a result, you had a couple teams picking very high. The Patriots, they added a new head coach. They fired the brother, and they hired Mike Vrabel to be the new head coach. They had the 4th overall pick, and they took Will Campbell, a offensive lineman out of LSU. They had already had a high pick last year, and they took Drake May with that. And so they built a very young nucleus and core there. The Bills, they signed Maga Bosa, one of the Maga Bosa's sons, Joey Bosa. And so he's probably only going to play about 2 or 3 games. You know, they don't last a whole season. Well, at least Joey doesn't. His brother John winds up playing a significant amount of games. But Joey, he normally plays about 2 or 3 games, but he'll be in his MAGA hat. He signed with the Bills. The Dolphins, it was a big trade. They traded their cornerback Jalen Ramsey to the Pittsburgh Steelers for Minkah Fitzpatrick. Minkah was drafted by the Dolphins, so he returns to South Beach to play there. The Jets, they hired defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn from the Detroit Lions as their new head coach. And they signed Justin Fields to quarterback the team, and that meant that they released Aaron Rodgers, who tenure there was just pretty messy from beginning to end. You know, he started toward the Achilles, came back, but the team was just in disarray, fired the head coach, and they just never got it together. And so just looking at that division, you know, if there is anybody that I would say would be on the hot seat going into this season, it's the head coach, Mike is it Mike McDonald? Yeah, Mike McDonald. I believe that he's on the hot seat. This is a team that is just underperforming. He has Tua. He has great wide receivers. He has good running backs. They just have not been able to put it together for a whole season. The over under in the division, you got the Bills over and under 11.5 wins. New England, it's kind of high at 8.5. I believe that, you know, that's more so on Vrabel and some of the rookies that they drafted. Dolphins are at 8.5 as well, and the Jets are at 5.5 over and under. So looking at that, who do you think comes away with this division now?
It's easily going to be the Bills. Now, well, let me back up. It's going to be the Bills, and it should be easily the Bills. Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the league. They have the best coach, and they got the best team in the league. Now, with that being said, they are going to have a problem, at least in the beginning of the season, with their receiving core. You know, they no longer have Diggs. They also they're not going to have their breakout receiver. It's going to all fall on Keon Coleman, at least the first few weeks. Sure. They do got the tight end. I can't remember the guy's name, that breakout receiver, but
forgetting names here, so go ahead.
they re-signed what's his face, the running back that ran for all the touchdowns last year, but
James Cook.
Yeah, James Cook, and he's not going to be able to keep that up. Most of them were punching, but he helped me in my fantasy league. So they're not. They don't look as strong as they did, but you're Josh Allen coming off of an MVP season, so I do expect him to continue to play well. Now you mentioned the Patriots, so I got the Bills coming in that league. You mentioned the Patriots, that's kind of high. Well, remember the Patriots now do have Stephon Diggs. The quarterback is supposed to be Drake May, supposed to be the guy. They've actually done some things in New England where they could make a run. 8.5, I think it's pretty good for them. I could see them getting actually 10 wins. So yeah, but I still have the Bills winning the division. The Dolphins are just a mess. They're internally a mess. If Tua, you just never know if he's going to get hurt, and if he gets hurt, that's it for him. Means it's it for the team. They still have Waddle. Waddle underperformed last year. Tyreek Hill is definitely on the decline. Doesn't mean that he's just going to fall off, but he's on the decline right now. The defense is old, even with like a Jalen Ramsey, getting an older guy.
They signed Matt Judon too. I was watching flipping the channel the other night and saw their preseason game. I was like, oh wow, Matt Judon is on that roster. I didn't really realize that.
Yeah, he was a recent sign, I think, within the earlier this month.
Okay.
Devin Shane, I don't know if that's how you pronounce his name. He's going to be their lead back. Remember, they had kind of a running back by committee the last couple of years that worked out well. And Shane was like the third head of that running back, but now he's got the job exclusively. So we'll see. I think the Dolphins have the potential to compete in that league, but they seem to implode, and I completely agree. Mike McDonald is on the hot seat with them. And the last team of the Jets, you got Justin Fields. What he gonna do? You don't know what he's gonna do. You still have Garrett Wilson. You still have their running back. I can't remember his name. I'm forgetting names today.
It's all right.
But the Jets are just, I don't know, man. They do have they do have the cornerback that they signed for big money last year, who was defensive rookie of the year. So they do have him, but yeah, I don't think the Jets. It's all going to depend on what Justin Fields can do. So that's kind of a wild card for them. But Bills, for me, I'm taking the Bills out of there.
Yeah, the Jets, they signed a guy known in Baltimore as Toast, Brandon Stevens, who got ate up last year in Baltimore, but he had a good year 2 years ago, but last year kind of lost his swagger. Sauce Gardner is pretty much holding down.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's who you're talking about, Sauce Gardner. And so I agree with you. I mean, I don't really trust Justin Fields too much. I mean, he had a couple years to prove who he was in Chicago. He really didn't get a chance last year in Pittsburgh. I mean, although he played a couple of those early games, they really once Russ Wilson was ready.
He actually played well, though.
He did play well. I mean, he didn't kill them. They didn't ask him to do a lot. And, I think where there's situations where he has to do a lot, he does not do well. And so if you're expecting him to drop back 30 times slinging the ball on this team, there's going to be a lot of problems with this team. I mean, Alan Lazard, Josh Reynolds. Yeah, you got Garrett Wilson, but, that receiving core is pretty thin. I'm sure they're going to be leaning on Breece Hall a lot on the run game, probably doing a lot of play action. Defense was pretty stout at some points. Quincy Williams played well for them, was a linebacker. And they did well on the defensive line. So we'll see what Aaron Glenn is able to bring to that team. But I agree with you in terms of the division winner. I think it is the Bills. I think the Dolphins is just, they start off the year. They always start off the year great. And then once they get to the middle of the season, it just starts to fall apart. Tua gets injured. I don't think he's played a full season in several years. Like you say, Hill, he's having so many children. I don't know if he still has any strength on the football field. The defense does not necessarily put any fear in your heart. They're going to score. They're going to get some points. As a matter of fact, Baltimore plays them this year. They go down, I think, in November sometime to play them down in Miami. And so that should probably be M&T South, because I know it's going to be a whole gang of Baltimore fans down there. And, I think McDonald, he's definitely on the chopping block. He's on the hot seat. He's got to win. This is a team that's built to win now. and they just have not done it. And so I don't, see any other teams coming out of that division. But the Bills, definitely, you got the DEI MVP and Josh Allen. Now, the boy is good. Now, once he get rolling, he a train. I mean, he hard to stop. He got a cannon arm. I mean, he played well. But, we're going to talk about Lamar in a little bit. But, it's obvious that a man with 41 touchdowns and only 4 interceptions and a higher passer rating
shouldn't have even been
and
close.
a better record did not
shouldn't
win.
have even been close.
It shouldn't have even been close. But, hey, it's America, right? And so, so I'm with you in terms of the Bills. I think the Bills take that division. Let's go ahead and skip over the North. We'll come to the North where we're going to spend some time and we're going to talk about the Ravens. But let's go to the AFC South. The winner of that division last season was the Texans. They finished 10-7. They beat the Chargers in the wild card, but they lost in the divisional round to the Chiefs. There were no other wild card teams or playoff teams in that division. The Texans, they have some new additions. Nick Chubb, who leaves Cleveland after, several injury-marred seasons there. He's going to Houston to play down there. You have Daniel Jones, who's been named the starter quarterback over Richardson. He won that, and, I think it's a little panic move, but we'll talk about that in a minute. The Jaguars, of course, they drafted the Heisman Trophy winner and 3rd overall pick, Travis Hunter. Looks like he's going to play both ways this season. And the Titans, they drafted the number 1 overall pick, Cam Ward. And so looking at over-unders for the South, you had the Titans at 5.5, the Colts at 7.5, the Jaguars at 7.5, and the Texans at 9.5 wins. And so just your thoughts on that division and who comes out as the winner.
Talk about a poverty division. Good gracious.
Yeah, very low win totals. Very low win totals in that division.
I'm going with the Texans because they have the best quarterback of all of them. They have the most complete team out there. Although his one of his receivers are going to be suspended for the first couple years, maybe if not suspended, hurt. They have something going on, but they don't have Joe Mixon. Their running game is definitely going to be struggling. We know Nick Chubb, we know his history, but this is a guy, as you mentioned, that came off of a devastating injury, so he's got to get back running. Now they do have Dameon Pierce, which a few seasons ago I thought Dameon Pierce was going to be the tote, he's going to tote that rock, but they went and got Mixon. CJ Stroud is going into his 3rd year, even though he had some second-year blues, sophomore blues, which they always do. I expect him to have a solid season. D'Amico Ryans is definitely a very good head coach. So I got the Texans coming out, but I do kind of agree with those win predictions that they're not going to run away with anything in the NFL with their schedule. They may run away in their division. The Colts have Danny Dimes quarterbacking for them. It's just like, come on. We've seen this before. Now they still have Jonathan Taylor, which he's a bell cow. As long as he's going to get a lot of work, let's just put it that way. He's going to get a lot of work with Danny Dimes quarterbacking. The Jaguars, I've tried to give them the past 2 seasons. I've tried to give them some wild card. I don't know if it's the coaching. I don't know if Trevor Lawrence just is not the guy, but they are just not the team that everyone expected them to be, and I don't expect anything to change with them. The Titans, they've gone through a coaching change, and now they have another rookie quarterback in there. So I don't expect much from them either. So I'm going with the Texans to take this division.
Okay. I'll go with you as well. I think the Texans, it's their division to lose. How bad do you have to be to lose your job to Daniel Jones? A lot of people saying, this is crazy. Daniel Jones, he wasn't successful in New York or whatever. And that's true. He was not. But, I mean, they drafted Richardson 1 and Steichen, who's the head coach. I mean, this was his pick, and they tried to do it for 3 years. And, jobs are on the line here. If you don't make the playoffs this year, you're out. The GM is out. And so you got to go with who you think is going to help you win the games. As a matter of fact, last year, we can't forget, Anthony Richardson asked out of the game, and they wind up making Joe Flacco the starting quarterback for the rest of the year.
Out. He didn't ask out. He walked off the field because
I thought he asked out. Like he was tired. He said, "I need to come out."
Yeah, he didn't. I don't think he asked. I think he just came off the field and said he was tired, and they have a choice.
Okay,
he will. As long as he's a Colt, that's going to follow him forever. And I think that helps in the decision for them to start Danny Dimes. Even though you shouldn't hold it against him, it was like middle of the season. And I think, he was a young boy, you try to give him some grace, but certain things you can't do. You're the leader of the team. They're not going to get over that.
Well, for me, I'm thinking, Calvin, I mean, are they going to be able to keep him on the roster? Because what if Daniel Jones gets injured? I mean, do the players have faith in Anthony Richardson? Can you go to Anthony Richardson now? This is the guy that was your number one pick. You try to make him the face of your franchise. Daniel Jones beats him for the job. I mean, can you turn to Daniel Jones now?
I don't think he's that bad of a quarterback. I'm
just wondering if the players are going to have faith in him. I mean, because to me, players, they give effort sometimes based on who they have faith in that can do the job. And as a player, as a locker room, do you think this guy can really do the job?
Now let's be honest. Unless you've heard something, I've not heard anything negative about the kid other than him walking off. So I would say I think the players are going to rally around whomever's going out there and giving the effort at the time. Now, if he's not giving the effort when he's out there, then that's something different. But I've never heard anything negative about him other than him, walking off the field at that point. But other than that, I never heard anything. So I don't think that should be. I don't think the team following him would be an issue.
Okay.
The problem is the coaches believe in him, and that's where.
Well, I mean, it's obvious the coaches don't.
They don't believe in him.
Coaches don't believe in him. I mean, if they did, they wouldn't have made that move. And so, and for me, as a person who grew up with the Baltimore Colts, I say F them. I don't care what happens.
Fuck all
they lose every game, but they're definitely making some moves to try to save jobs, and so we'll see what happens with this team. But I think the Texans are definitely, and I'm willing also to see what happens with the Jaguars. I mean, I think it's really going to be dependent on what happens with Lawrence at quarterback. This team always seems like it's rebuilding every year. Travis Hunter's going to bring more eyes on the team and everything. I'm not sure how often you're going to split him defense to offense. I mean, we'll see. But the NFL is a different game, of course. I mean, I'm just stating the obvious, Captain Obvious. Of course, the NFL is a different game than college. And do you want your best receiver trying to tackle Derrick Henry? Do you want your best receiver out there trying to tackle Saquon Barkley or trying to support the edge on a sweep, and you got a 300-pound guard barreling down the line? I mean, so they're going to have to make a lot of decisions in terms of what type of packages they put him in. But I'm willing to see how it works. I mean, Dion did it for a little bit when he was in Atlanta and when he went to San Francisco and Dallas. And there's no saying that, Travis couldn't do it as well.
Yeah, I think we're thinking too much on what Travis Hunter's role is. I think the Jaguars, especially with their coordinators and they have trainers and all, one of their roles is to save players from themselves. I'm sure they've talked to him enough about making real business decisions and they know where they're going to put him in. With that being said, they actually need a guy like him. So he's their moneymaker right now. It used to be Trevor Lawrence, but truth be told, it's Travis Hunter right now. Travis Hunter is the draw. He's going to be the draw for Duval. Oh no, wait, how the coach say it? Duval. He'll say it like that when he got hired. Duval.
Duval.
But Travis Hunter's going to be the draw. So, I don't doubt that they'll try to put him in the best position possible. And they're going to have to use him on both sides of the ball. They've been underachieving too long. They're expecting a lot now. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is the guy. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is the guy that we were promised with him coming out of Clemson. I just don't think he is.
I agree with you as well. All right. Let's go ahead to the AFC West. And in the West, the Chiefs, they've won the conference for the last decade, that division. They went 15-2 last year. One of their best records. You wouldn't have thought it that they did, though, because that was a struggle, 15-2. Some conspiracy theory wins within that 15-2. They ran through the playoffs. They beat the Texans in the divisional, and they beat the Bills in the AFC Championship. Of course, they lost to the Eagles in the Super Bowl. You had two wildcard teams in that division. You had the Chargers, who finished 11-6. They lost to the Texans in the wild card, and you had the Broncos, who went 10-7. And they lost to the Bills in the wild card. In terms of new additions in that division, J.K. Dobbins, he signed with the Broncos, and hopefully he was good here. I would have loved to see him healthy, but then again, we wouldn't have Derrick Henry if J.K. didn't go down. And so wish him the best. Then with Denver, he did start off very well last year with the Chargers and all, but has some injury concerns there too. The Chiefs, they re-signed Hollywood Brown and Kareem Hunt, but they're going to lose Rashee Rice for 6 games this season, and so he'll be out for the first 6 weeks of the season. I believe he has some charges. He has some driving stuff, and so he has to serve a suspension. The Raiders, they hired Pete Carroll as their new head coach. They drafted Ashton Genty as the running back, as the 6th overall pick. They signed Geno Smith, quarterback who quarterbacked the Seahawks last year. And the Chargers, they signed Trey Lance as a backup, and they signed Najee Harris, who was starting running back for the Steelers last season. And so,
and they brought back Keenan Allen.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They brought back Keenan Allen. He was with Chicago. He left to go. Well, they traded him to Chicago, did the season there, and he re-signed with the Chargers. And most importantly, we got to mention that Travis Kelce got engaged to Taylor Swift. And so that's very important as well. Hey, man, we're trying to get Swifties to watch this. And so let me say it again. Travis Kelce is engaged to Taylor Swift. And so that happened as well. And so looking at this division, man, is it the Chiefs to lose?
Yeah. So until they are actually dethroned, I know a lot of people are high on the Broncos, but until they are actually dethroned, I'm still going with the Chiefs. They have the best coach in the division. They have the best offensive coordinator in the division. They have the best quarterback in the division. So I'm still going Chiefs to win their division. I do like the Broncos improving. They did throw some steps forward last year, so I do like them improving. I think they're going to be strong. I also think the Chargers are going to be strong. The Chargers did draft a rookie running back that is supposedly supposed to be pretty good. I think he was second or third round draft, but he's supposed to be pretty decent. And then they Justin Herbert is not as bad as Trevor Lawrence, but he still underachieves. But I do think that addition to Harbaugh at least got him to the playoffs, so they're gonna continue that. The Raiders. Now, let's not sleep on the Raiders. Now, Jacoby Myers did ask for a trade. I don't know if they're going to give him that or not. They did pick up what's his face that was with Cleveland last year. Why can't I?
I'll look it up. Mm-hmm.
But they did pick him up. They still have Bowers, probably one of the best tight ends in the league. I don't think Geno is a bad quarterback.
Amari Cooper.
Geno does play very well. You got Ashton Genty that's coming out, just like we had Bijan Robinson coming out with real high expectations. Now.
They got Brock Bowers as well.
Brock Bowers, yep. Now they do have Pete Carroll. I know how people think Pete Carroll is this great coach, and I don't think he's a bad coach. Okay. But have you seen him walk and talk lately? Pete Carroll is on his last breath.
Well, he's got to be like 80 something. I think he's older than Belichick. Yeah,
sir. Like, but he knows more about football in his fingernail than I could ever even begin to imagine. Sure. So I don't think the Raiders are a slouch. And contrary to popular belief, I do think this AFC West may just be, dare I say it, with all four of these teams, may just be the strongest division in the AFC. Oh, that's blasphemous right there. But I got the Chiefs coming out and winning. I got the Chiefs coming out.
Okay. I had the Chiefs as well. But I don't think it's going to be a 15-2 record. As a matter of fact, over and unders for the division. KC at 11.5, the Chargers at 9.5, the Broncos at 9.5, and the Raiders at 6.5. I think it's going to be a lot of back and forth within the division. I don't think the Chiefs walk through this division like they have in past years.
I agree.
Harbaugh, second year there. Although the offensive coordinator there is not the greatest, we know about that from our Baltimore experience.
That's only year 2 for him. It's usually the third year.
It's usually the third year. Yeah, he starts going a little. But I think they have enough offense to be very competitive with the Chargers. With the Chiefs, but it's usually their defense that has a problem. I think Pete Carroll is worth a couple more wins than just 6. He's a guy that's won pretty much everywhere that he's gone. I was reading something about the Broncos. A lot of the experts believe that they overperformed last year in terms of the defense, although they have one of the youngest and best defensive backfields in the league. They feel that they overperformed because against playoff teams, I think they gave up 30-plus points a game, but against non-playoff teams, they only gave up less than 20. And so when they play in the top talent, they're not necessarily dominating the top talent as you would see that record and you would think, oh wow, they really defensively was shutting people down, but they were not necessarily doing that at all. And so it's still the Chiefs. It's still the Chiefs. As long as Mahomes there, looked like Mahomes went and got a fresh lineup. I saw him talking, with a lot of bass in his voice, very low and retrospective in his talk. So, he's got an axe to grind trying to get back to the Super Bowl. He was humiliated last year. Travis, they say he went out there and lost some weight and everything. Taylor got him on a nice little diet and everything. So he's ready for the season. He's ready, to start bringing her to all the games. And we'll see what happens with them. But yeah, as long as the quarterback, the head coach, and the tight end is there, they're always going to win that division. And so I don't think it's any discussion on that. All right, man, let's talk about, you said that the West was probably the best division.
I think.
And you know what, Calvin? I'm not going to dispute you on that. They had 3 teams. They're
top heavy. We're top heavy.
Yeah, and so let's go ahead and dive into the AFC North. And so we know that our Baltimore Ravens, they went 12-5 last year. They beat the Steelers in the wild card, but they had that tough loss to the Bills in the divisional round. There was a wild card team in the division. It was the Steelers. Steelers went 10-7. Of course, they lost to the Ravens in the wild card, and we had the Bengals, who've missed the playoffs 2 years in a row. And so this is the team that most experts had picked to win the division the last 2 years, and they've missed the playoffs 2 consecutive years. In terms of new additions to the division, the Steelers, they signed Aaron Rodgers. They traded for DK Metcalf. They traded for Jalen Ramsey, as we mentioned earlier. Also, they signed Jonnu Smith, tight end from Miami. They extended TJ Watt. He's now the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history, defensive end. He went and got the bag. For our Browns, they signed our last Super Bowl winning quarterback, Joe Flacco. And so Joe Flacco has been named the starter there. He'll be starting off the season as their starting quarterback. Kenny Pickett was traded to the Las Vegas Raiders, and so they had a injury to their backup there behind Geno, and so they made a trade with the Browns to get Pickett. Also, if you do not know, if you haven't been on planet Earth in the last since the spring, they drafted Shedeur Sanders, y'all. Shedeur Sanders is there, as well as Dylan Gabriel. He's been named the backup to Joe Flacco to start the season. And so we're going to talk about Shedeur more in a couple minutes. The Bengals, they signed Jamar Chase and T. Higgins to 4-year extensions. And also they just extended Trey Hendrickson yesterday. He signs a 1-year extension. That brings him up to the class of TJ Watt and Myles Garrett in terms of yearly money just for a year. He'll be a free agent after the season.
The lower end of that.
He's at the low. I mean, he's at 23 million. I think they're at 25 million.
He let
go ahead.
I was just about to say he definitely sold himself short. He could have got more money.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a show me year. I mean, he's not going to resign there. They're not going to resign him. If they wanted to keep him long term, they would have figured it out. But hey, this is some temporary money. Boost me up. I go ahead and get my stats up, and next year somebody will open up the checkbook for me. The Ravens, they signed Jair Alexander, DeAndre Hopkins, Chidobe Awuzie. They extended Derrick Henry, Rashad Bateman, and today they just extended Kyle Hamilton. He signed a 4-year, $100.4 million extension. That is the largest deal for a safety in NFL history. And so the Ravens way, they always sign their franchise players. Very rarely, I can't think of any franchise player that left in his peak years from the Ravens. And so the Ravens do a great job of keeping their franchise players there.
Maybe CJ Mosley.
CJ Mosley couldn't cover nobody.
I'm just saying maybe CJ Mosley, because he was at the time he was supposed to be very good. Yeah, he was supposed to. Went to the Jets. He stayed hurt, and then he ain't do nothing. And now he's retired. Didn't he retire?
Yeah, no, he retired. The Ravens were taking a look at him, and I think it was more injury related. I think he has some similar that happened to Zach, or he has some neck injury. That's because the Ravens were interested in possibly bringing him back, but he went ahead and decided to retire. And so, let's go ahead and just jump into the Ravens, man. What do you think about this roster? What do you think about their chances? I already know who's going to win the division. I know you're going to pick the Ravens, so we don't have to jump into that. But what do you think about this team this season? I mean, if they don't win the Super Bowl, is it time to change head coaches? Is it time to make radical change? I mean, what do you think about this team?
Yeah, I'm always going to say yes when you ask me if it's time for John Harbaugh to go. I'm always going to say yes, because I'm not a huge fan. However, with that being stated, I always go back to what Jay used to ask us, well, who you going to get that's any better? And it's just like the whole Mike Tomlin argument, like we argue with the Steelers about their coach. The guy gets you to the playoffs every year. Yeah, you might get out, but Harbaugh gets us there. Like, I mean, he's the second most tenured coach, only behind Mike Tomlin. He's a winning coach. He's a Super Bowl winning coach at that. I mean, if he wouldn't be able to, as soon as he walked out of the Raven facility, there would be Ubers from almost every team in the NFL waiting to pick him up and drive them to their facility. So it's hard to say should they get rid of the coach. Now, if you look at last year, it wasn't Harbaugh that dropped those balls. Now, we can't put everything on Mark Andrews, but the team on the field did not execute and perform as they should have, with the exception of the first down inside the 10 and you only give the ball to Derrick Henry once.
Right.
That's on the offensive coordinator. But it's also on Lamar because Lamar does have audible ability. They've given him that now. They've in the past 2 years he can audible out of any play. Um, but yeah, man, this roster, when you look at this schedule, especially how the schedule is kind of front loaded with heavier teams at home, they I always hate to say there's no excuse, but this, and we've said it the past couple of years, but this has to be the best team that they have on paper. They got to get there. Now, if they win it all, let's get there first. Let's get over this playoff mistake hump that we keep running into. It was Zay in the championship game with the 15-yard penalty, then getting stripped at the goal line, and then Lamar they're not running the ball. I mean, let's get past these playoff jitters or whatever you want to call them and get there first. And once we get there, I feel like a lot of pressure will get off of that. I think if they make it to the Super Bowl this year, that they will play so loose. I don't think they'll be tight to win it. I don't think they'll be satisfied with just getting there, but I think they'll realize that this is where we belong and that they'll dominate in the Super Bowl. But I don't know about firing the coach, man. And of course, Ravens winning the division. And just real quick, the Browns stink. I'm not even thinking about them. I don't think Aaron Rodgers brings to the Steelers what they think he's going to bring to the Steelers. And when you get rid of George Pickens, I don't think DK Metcalf is as good as George Pickens, but I do think Metcalf is good. But I don't think they have what they think they have. I think this will be Mike Tomlin's year to not make the playoffs. And I say that every year, but it looks more like it this year. And the Bengals.
One of my questions. Did you think that the winning streak that he's had stops this year in terms
I think it stops this year. The Bengals, you still offensively loaded. We've countered that with our defense, but you don't have a defense to counter our offense. I think the Bengals will be hard pressed to make it back to the playoffs. Although I do have the Bengals as my third wild card team. I think the Bengals and the Steelers will swap that spot this year.
So you think they have, with signing Hendrickson, they have enough defense to get them over the hump? Because that's been the problem the last couple of years. That they started slow. That's why they
start slow. They started slow.
They 2 preseason games this year. They signed Hendrickson, but you think they have enough defense to get them? Because that's always been, they can put up 38, but they give up 42.
But that's it. So I don't think they're going to start slow this year. I think they have enough offense to get them to the wild card. I don't think they'll start as slow. The defense, it almost has to get slightly better. You know what I mean? Like, and signing Hendrickson is definitely helps. They've drafted high the past couple of years in their defense, and they've tried to address the defense getting a lot of veterans. And I have them in the wild card. Now, let me say this: I have them in the wild card because the pickings are slim outside of the AFC West. The pickings are slim down there. Like, I'm not looking at the Jaguars. You're looking at the Colts. The pickings are slim. So I have them as the best of some of the worst. Let me say it that
way. Let's see. Vegas has the Ravens at over under 11.5, the Bengals at 9.5. Steelers at 8.5 and the Browns at 4.5. I agree with you. I think it's the Ravens' division to lose. Just looking at the schedule real quick, as you said, it's kind of it's not necessarily super hard. I mean, I think they have a tough schedule. I mean, you open on the road in Buffalo on Sunday night. You come home to Cleveland for your second game. You play the Lions at home on Monday night, and then you have KC on a Sunday. That's a 4:25 game. And so, but then, towards the end of the season, I think it gets pretty rough. I mean, they have let's see, from November 27th through December the 21st, you have Cincinnati at home, Pittsburgh at home, on the road at Cincinnati, at home against New England. Then you have two away games that are flex games, Green Bay, and then they end the season in Pittsburgh. And so the end of the season can be pretty rough. I mean, they're going to have to do a lot of work in the middle and at the beginning of the season. Typically, if you're going to get the Ravens, it's like to me, it's in between games 1 and 5. Usually they kind of come out the gate a little slow. They might come out 3-2. They may come out 4-2. They drop some games that they're not supposed to drop. And then, things start clicking. And so we'll see what happens. I agree with you. I think this year the offense is better than this is the best offense that we've ever had. And I think defensively they're going to show a lot on the field. And so I think they're the cream of the division. Now, let me ask you this about the Browns. Do you believe that the Browns set Shedeur Sanders up for failure? There's been this theory that's been swelling around the internet, and not only just the internet, but I've heard some people, these are people that played in the league. These are people that have been on TV for a while, that the Browns purposely set Shedeur up. They didn't let him do the 2-minute drill in the preseason, and he didn't get to play with the ones and this, that, and the other. And what's your take on this?
Let me first start by saying, after what we've learned this offseason, when it came to collusion, you can't put anything past any team in the NFL. So I'll just say it that way. Okay. I do think Shedeur Sanders should be the backup quarterback. I don't think he should be their third string quarterback. Now, I don't think he should be starting. I don't. He didn't show enough to start. You're throwing Flacco out there. But with that being said, if you're a team that, looking at your roster now, Stefanski is fighting. Stefanski, however you say it. Stefanski. I believe he's fighting for his job. So he's going to go with the veteran to try to at least grab some games at the beginning, and not get fired by the middle of the season. But if you're being honest with yourself and you're the Browns and you're looking at your team, why not throw Shedeur Sanders out there, if for nothing else, to bring in the money, get the fans coming in, because the fans are actually behind Shedeur. Get the fans in, get the exciting guy in. In the age of these running quarterbacks, these triple threat quarterbacks, every team wants to have one. They want to have something to be excited about. They want to see some excitement on the field. So you have to know, if you're the Browns, that you have very little chance of doing anything significant. Why not throw that boy out there and get him running around and see what he can give you? But I know he's fighting for his job, so he's going to put Flacco out there. So I can't say that they didn't set him up, but they're the Browns. They set themselves up all the time. So
I think this.
They signed Deshaun Watson to a fully guaranteed contract.
Well, yeah, true.
They're the Browns.
You don't waste draft capital playing games. This is not Game of Thrones. This is not The Wire. You don't draft people to sabotage players. You draft players to develop them and to use that asset to help your team improve. And so for me, for anyone to think that the Browns would purposely sabotage a player that they didn't have to draft, just doesn't make any sense. You don't waste your draft capital. That's how you build teams. That's how the Ravens and all these other championship teams, Chiefs and Patriots, and any championship team that you've seen, they've built their team through the draft. They've drafted and developed players. And so to think that you would bring a draft pick into your team to purposely set him up so he could not be successful, to me doesn't make any sense at all. I don't think he's ready.
Still the Browns.
I don't think he's ready. As a matter of fact, I will say this about the Browns. I think they think they're a playoff team. If Deshaun Watson was not their quarterback, they let Flacco walk last season because they were trying to clear the way for Deshaun. They didn't want it to be any controversy that if Deshaun started playing bad, people were going to start screaming for Flacco because they went to the playoffs the year before with Flacco. And so they let Flacco walk because they just wanted to go ahead and give it to Deshaun without having the fan pressure or debate of having Flacco there. Deshaun goes out and gets injured. I'm sure they would have loved to have Flacco last year because he played well for them. And he plays well in that system. He did well when that Stefanski system is nothing but the Shanahan system. And when the former head coach, the guy that won the Super Bowl with Denver, when he came here and was running that system, Flacco had one of his best seasons under that system. And so, Gary Kubiak. And so I think that, they really think they probably can win with Flacco. I don't think Sanders is going to see the field this year. I don't think you just throw him out there. I don't. I don't think you just throw him out there for excitement. You're trying to win games. You play. Come here, Herm Edwards. You play to win the game. You don't play the experiment. You don't put nobody out there and just let them run around and they ain't ready for the league. And just because they bring excitement.
Dylan Gabriel?
Dylan Gabriel you drafted him in the third round, so you must have some faith in him. And if we're being, because I don't think a lot of people being objective.
The Browns are Browns.
He didn't play bad during the preseason.
He did not play bad. But Shador didn't play bad.
I'm not saying that Shador did. I don't think he played bad either. And so you go before you think it's going to win you games. And I think Shador is going to get. They traded. I think the best thing that happened for Shador was them trading Kenny Pickett, because that guarantees he's not going to be on the practice squad. Probably he's not going to see the field during game day, because I don't think they'll carry 3 quarterbacks on game day. Most teams do not carry 3 quarterbacks on game day. They only carry 2. And so, be inactive. Yeah, so he'll probably be inactive for game days. But, he's going to get to be there. He's going to get to be in the room. Now, I think if you get to week 10 and they're 3-7, you probably will see Shador. But if they're like 5-6 and they're fighting for a wild card, you ain't gonna see Shador. If they're in the mix for one of those third wild card spots, you're not gonna see Shador. But hey, if the season's a wash and they're several games under 500, you may see him. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I just don't think everybody's like there's some conspiracy out against old boy, but I think he'll get his shot. And even if it's not this year, if he comes back, because I doubt if they bring back Flacco's like a 1-year thing, and he competes with Dylan Gabriel for next season, I think he might beat him out.
I just pulled up the Browns schedule. Let's
yeah, go ahead. Let's look at it, because I know it's brutal.
Let's take it, bruh. It's like it looked like they won the Super Bowl last year. The way they got this game 1, Cincinnati loss. Game 2, Baltimore loss. Game 3, Green Bay and Green Bay. No, at home. But Green Bay loss.
Yeah, they're under 3. They're over under 4.5.
The Lions. I'm trying to find the 4. The Lions loss. Then you go to October 5th. The Vikings loss.
New England
at Steelers loss.
New York
Dolphins loss. Patriots loss. The Jets game maybe.
Vegas
Ravens loss. Raiders
Tennessee
loss. 49ers lost. Tennessee lost. Bears.
You got them losing to Tennessee?
Yeah, I got them losing to Tennessee. Okay, we'll give them that. We'll give them possibly 2 wins. Tennessee. Bears.
Come on, bro.
I'll give them a chance with the Bears.
They got 4 in the possible.
They got 3. I see 3 in the possible.
You don't think they could get New England? You don't think they could get the Jets?
I don't think they could get New England. I gave him the Jets.
This is a team with Myles Garrett. They got a pretty.
I gave him the Jets. I don't think they can get New England though. I don't think they can get New England.
Yeah,
and I really don't think they can get the Bears because they're playing in Chicago in December. By that time, the Bears should be.
And I'll say this: let's not forget, they split with Baltimore last year.
Yeah, so the division is always going to play each other well.
Yeah. So I mean, Baltimore, we're going to lose a game we shouldn't lose in the division. Now we swept Cincinnati last year, but we split with Pittsburgh and Cleveland. Shouldn't have lost the first game in Pittsburgh, and we shouldn't have lost that game in the first game in Cleveland. So it happens.
Justin Tucker lost that first game in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, well. Yeah. So I mean, we'll see. I didn't say this was a playoff bound team, but I'm. You never know what happens in the league. We're looking at these games and people get injured, things happen.
This is true. Things happen.
Yeah.
I got Shador coming in October.
You think you see him in October? October 26th. Even Dylan Gabriel, they ain't gonna stick with him.
No, I got Shador coming in October 26th in New England.
And so when Shador wins, when Shador gets in, do they start winning?
I ain't say all that. I just got them saying, well, let's try this.
He's going to get a chance to play especially if they're under 4 wins, he's going to get a chance to play this season. But if they're above 4 wins, if they're 6 or 7 or 8 wins, he's not going to see the field.
I don't see, bro.
I'm with you. I don't see it either,
Oof.
But
that's why their schedule is actually brutal. This schedule is
brutal, but this is why they play the games.
Jeez, you right about that.
I mean, Detroit, they got a lot of changes there. I mean, are they going to still be the juggernaut they were the last 2 seasons?
No, but the thing is, they're playing in Detroit.
Yeah.
So that gives them, even the Packers game. I looked at that Packers game and I even give them, competing against the Packers because they're playing at home. If they were going to Green Bay, I wouldn't even give them. Same thing with the Vikings. Actually, they play the Vikings at home. So we'll see. We'll see.
All right, man. Who your wild cards, real quick?
Yeah, I'm going back with the AFC West with the Broncos and the Chargers. And as I mentioned, I'm going to give the Bengals the 3rd wild card. I think they are the best of the, I don't want to say the worst. I think they're the best of the not so good.
Broncos, Chargers, and Bengals. I'm going to go Bengals. Let me take a look at this. You know what? I never bet against Mike Tomlin. I'm going to go Steelers. And
AFC North getting 3 this year?
Yeah. And I'm going to go I'll go Chargers.
Not the Broncos. You think you
Yeah, I think it's going to be kind of regression to the mean.
They coming back down.
Yeah, they're coming back down. I don't necessarily trust Bo Nix. Like the stats said, they were against playoff teams. They had a losing record last year. They had a very soft schedule at some points, but against playoff teams, and so they got a harder schedule this year. And we see what happens for them. I think little bloom off the rose. All right, so who's your NFC champion?
Oh man, I thought we were doing that next week.
We can do that next week. We can do that next week.
I wasn't prepared for.
Let's do it next week. We can do that next week. We can come back with our pick for AFC.
Are we going to go we're going to do Ravens prediction schedule win loss?
And we can do a regular. We can pick. As a matter of fact, games start next week, and so the first game is next Thursday. We record early. We also Wednesday. Do we'll do our predictions for the first week of the season as well. All right. And so again, Calvin's pick for division winners: Bills, Ravens, Texans, Chiefs, His wild cards are Broncos, Chargers, and Bengals. My division winners are Bills, Ravens, Texans, Chiefs, same. But my wild card is different. Bengals, Steelers, Chargers. All right.
Got it.
That's why they play the game.
That's why they play the game.
That's why they play the games. That's why they play the games. Now we're at the favorite point of the show that everybody loves. Come on, yo. And so, Calvin, I'll pass it to you. What's your come on, yo?
So, just today, Tyler Huntley was signed to the Ravens practice squad.
What?
Come on, yo. I'm so sick of you Tyler Huntley people. Like, so remember he got signed to the Browns, and he was their fifth quarterback on the roster.
Right.
And they swiftly let him go right after he played in the game. But you people, first of all, we're not even going to talk about how when Lamar was in his contract dispute, you people were out there talking about, oh, well, we don't really need him. Tyler Huntley can do what he can do. We won't even talk about that. We won't even talk about how Tyler Huntley was in the playoff game against the Bengals and was inches away from winning this playoff game. And he fumbled because he went over the top when he was supposed to go under.
He did.
And they ran back a 99-yard touchdown to win the game. Let's not talk about that.
There were people that saying that the Ravens could win playoff games with Tyler Huntley over Lamar Jackson.
Come on, yo. He went to the Dolphins last year. What happened?
It was horrible.
What happened? Come on, yo. I'm so sick of this Tyler Huntley experiment. Now, what I will say, Devin Leary was horrible. So they could not keep him. They had to get rid of him. I'm not a big fan of having Cooper Rush as a backup quarterback, and not because he can't play. We know he's not Lamar, but no one is. But it's because of his style of quarterbacking. I would much rather have a player that runs the offense like Lamar runs the offense. So if he has to come out, then it's a seamless transition. With that being said, you all are going to tell me that Tyler Huntley's been with the team. He knows the offense. He runs it like Lamar does. I want someone that can at least run it efficiently. Bring back Josh Johnson. I mean, I know he's over in D.C. right now, and I know he's 137 years old, but bring him back. Tyler Huntley, come on, yo. When are we going to get finished with Tyler Huntley?
Never.
What's the point in having him on the practice squad? Because he played practice anyway. It don't help him. Tyler Huntley is awful. Come on, yo. But shout out to Tyler Huntley for collecting these NFL checks, because the boy getting paid out there. I ain't mad at him. I'm mad at the Ravens for continuing to bring him back. Let it be someone else's problem. Come on, yo. Get rid of Tyler Huntley. I don't want him on the practice squad. I don't want him in the concession stands. I don't want him selling gear. I don't want him making announcements. I don't want him anywhere near Baltimore. He's not that good.
He'll be standing on the sidelines on Sundays, encouraging the players in his Raven sweats. Get used to it. Snoop. Yeah, get ready for it, baby.
Oh boy,
we just gotta keep. Hey, the quarterbacks are now getting these jobs that typically went to the white quarterbacks.
You know,
they're getting the practice squad jobs and they're getting the backup jobs. So I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it at all.
I'm not mad at him collecting the checks. No. I just don't want him collecting Baltimore checks.
No, I'm not mad at it. You know, we had to deal with all these white quarterbacks, want these backup jobs and the practice. Now all the brothers,
all those guys, the Nathan Petermans, what's the
Ryan
Fitzpatrick,
Mike Flynn. Mike Flynn kept a job. Mike Flynn kept a job.
Yeah. You are right about that.
Yeah, he kept a job.
White boys backing up everybody.
Now you had Tommy Cutlets. He was cut by the Giants. You got blacks up there. You got Jameis Winston. You got Russell Wilson.
Jameis is another one. You're right. You know what? The quarterbacks are collecting checks, yo.
Yes, we getting
checks.
This
is a new era in the NFL. They are. Teddy Bridgewater just signed again.
Yes. I'm not mad.
Wait, Teddy Bridgewater just signed again after he got kicked out of his high school team for what he
because he was taking care of the players.
Yeah, he was taking care of the players. It's some real bullshit. But still, you know what? You're right. We got these guys out here collecting money.
They're collecting money. Let them get their checks. Don't hate on the bag. Don't hate on the bag. Let these boys get their check.
I don't want Tyler Huntley collecting the Baltimore check.
Let that man get his check. Get your check.
Because anytime Tyler Huntley is on Baltimore, there's a chance that he could take the field.
Get your check. Get your check, brother.
I'm trying to hear it.
Quarter blacks unite.
I ain't trying to hear it. Yo. Collect the check from somewhere else, Huntley.
Get your check, homeboy. All right, man. Come on, yo. Come on, Cracker Barrel. Now, Cracker Barrel, if you had not known, about a week and some change ago, Cracker Barrel decided that it was going to change his logo. On the logo was a man. We said he was white. We don't know if he was white or black. He was just yellow because the sign was yellow. Sitting next to a barrel. A barrel. And so a lot of people say it was a cracker sitting in the chair in the barrels, thus Cracker Barrel. And so Cracker Barrel, in a rebranding of its logo, we call them Uncle Herschel, because if you go to Cracker Barrel, you know that on the menu is the Uncle Herschel's pancake breakfast. No, that's the mama's pancake. Uncle Herschel has a breakfast. I think it's like grits and eggs and all these other things. And so everybody called him Uncle Herschel. We didn't know if Uncle Herschel or not. And there was an outrage. I mean, people lost their mind. White people and black people, because we like a taste of the Civil War when we go to Cracker Barrel. I ain't gonna lie, Cracker Barrel pancakes be hitting sometime, but when you be looking around the Cracker Barrel, that's the thing that they really need to change is the interior, because it make you feel like you in antebellum South. Like you should be like, Masa, can I have the pancakes, sir? Masa, can I have another cup of coffee, sir? You's not gonna separate our family, are you, after we eat these eggs, are you, sir? You're not gonna break up the family. No, sir, I'm not gonna run, sir. I will go out there and pick your cotton, sir. And so thank you. And so I do voices. And so Cracker Barrel, under tremendous pressure, decided that it's going to change the logo, the branding of Cracker Barrel back to the old branding. And so come on, yo. It was nothing wrong with changing it. Just change it and stand on it. I didn't even know it was a man sitting in a chair next to a barrel when I went there. I was just thinking about the pancakes and getting some candy when I'm done. I normally buy some jelly beans up in there. You know they got the candy and all that stuff at the candy counter. And so, Cracker Barrel, come on, yo. Yeah, you bend into pressure. You didn't have to do all that. If it's pressure, let's put some pressure on them slavery pictures that they got inside of Cracker Barrel instead of the man that's on the branded on the outside of Cracker Barrel. Okay, can we change that? Can we change it from the feeling of the old South to just a place where we're going to get some pancakes? I don't feel that way when I go to IHOP, like I'm in slave territory, like I'm gonna have to run out here and fend for my life and stuff when I go to IHOP. So I don't want to feel that way when I go to Cracker Barrel. So come on, y'all.
All I'm saying is Waffle House would never. But when
Waffle House, you better fight when you come back in Waffle House.
But we is free. We is free to fight.
We is free.
We is free to fight.
Waffle House.
But Cracker Barrel, when they removed the logo and stuff, people was like, damn, they removed the cracker and the barrel.
Right, that's what people. They moved the cracker and the barrel. I was like,
all I'm saying is Cracker Barrel has the second best pancakes out next to IHOP. And as long as they don't change that, I don't give a damn.
Right. Don't mess with that.
If you put a Ritz cracker on that motherfucker and call it Cracker Barrel, I don't give a damn if you decide to get sponsored by
cracker on it.
M&T Bank. M&T Cracker Barrel sponsored by M&T Bank. I don't give a damn if your motherfucking workers are actually wearing motherfucking slave scraps with the shirts hanging off and the tatted. I don't care if when I ask for the bathroom, somebody be like, "Hey, you looking for the bathrooms? It's right over here.
The colored bathrooms is out back."
Oh no, we can't use that bathroom. I don't care if when I ask for a pie, y'all holler, "This here, this is white pie." And when I say, "Well, where the nigga pies?" you pull out a gun and say, "How about I make you into a nigga pie?" Just don't change the pancakes.
Don't do that. Don't mess with the pancakes. I don't want to come up in there. Y'all didn't mess with the pancakes. I want to see them three. I want them 3 hot syrups, and I want them pancakes right. Get it together.
And y'all got the syrup. The syrup is in their own little bottle and shit.
Bottles, like a shorty.
With little tape on top of it. That's how you know it's fresh. Because if the tape is broken, then you can be like, "I need to send this back. Right. This ain't the fresh one. I need the fresh shit.
Bring it on
and then the
out."
syrup even be all buttery and shit.
Nice and hot.
Listen, I got they biscuits and gravy one time. And oh my, what? Let me tell you something. So we was at Cracker Barrel one time, me and Katina, and she was looking at her, what I ordered and what she ordered. And she literally was like, "How many biscuits you get with yours?" "I get 2 biscuits. She was like, "All right, well, I can order this and then get one of your biscuits." "Oh, no, you cannot."
Man.
Oh, she literally pointed, was like, the server just laughed and was like, "I'll bring her own biscuits." I was like, "Thank you, sir." Hey, one of my goddamn biscuits.
Right. Excuse me?
Yo, but I don't care. Now, what they can do, because I don't know if y'all know this, but there was a time when we were the men of girth. Yes. And they can change them chairs, because them little wooden chairs.
Yeah, they be tight. They don't want you to get comfortable.
I sit in them motherfuckers, and I'm always scared them bitches is going to crack. Yeah. Another thing, Cracker Barrel, answer me this. Y'all be charging a few $100s for them rocking chairs out there, but everybody rocking in them. Them bitches is used. Shouldn't there be a discount on that motherfucker? Like, how can the chair be $250, but it's on the showroom, but it's like the display model? People just to be rocking, and you'd be like, "How long is the wait?" Be like, "Oh, it's a half hour there." Right. They just be rocking them, but you still want me to pay? That rocking chair should be $50.
They're gonna wipe it off. Gonna wipe it off and give it right to you.
I don't give it. Come on, Cracker Barrel. I'm with you, Garland. Fuck that logo. Fuck it. Shit, y'all need to start doing. Do they have curbside like everybody else do?
Yes, they do.
Oh well, shit. Hey sir, here's your breakfast.
Here's your breakfast.
Man, let me shut this thing down.
Yeah, hey, it's a Cracker Barrel.
We are live on YouTube right now. Catch us on the podcast platform. Yeah, Spotify.
You have been listening to The B.I.G. Show. This show was produced and written by Calvin Coates and Garland Thomas for All Things Black Productions. Follow us on all of your podcast media platforms.
Y'all should hire Tyler Huntley. Get him off our hands. Tyler Huntley can work at Cracker Barrel.
The quarter blacks.
All right,